Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
Scooch over. We need room for 3 more at the table. Hey everybody, I'm Kelly Wilkness here with Anita Joyce, and this is Decorating Tips and Tricks, episode 431. I'm not only with Anita today, but also joined by Annie Diamond of Most Lovely Things, Marianne Pickett from Classic Casual Home, and Cindy Hattersley from Rough Luxe Lifestyle blog. These ladies are fabulous, and they're here to talk design, decorating, friendship, and so much more. In celebration of getting together for this special podcast, we have a phenomenal, once-in-a-lifetime, one-of-a-kind collection to give away to one of you. So listen on for details on how to enter for a chance to win. You are going to just be blown away by this giveaway. And without further ado, now is the time to scooch on over and make room at our virtual table for Annie, Marianne, and Cindy. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you, Kelly.
Annie, why don't you kick it off for the 3 of you and just tell the listeners where you blog, what it's all about, and how long you've been doing it.
Sure. Okay. My blog is called Most Lovely Things, and it's a lifestyle blog. I really don't specialize in any one thing. I share ideas on like home decor with like a really relaxed feel, easy recipes, DIY, a little bit of fashion and travel. I've been pretty reluctant to show my face, but spoiler alert, I dress like my house.
You do. I think I kind of dress like my house too.
I think we all do.
Marianne, how about you?
My blog is called Classic Casual Home, and I think I dress like my home too, Annie, don't I? I mean, classic.
You
casual.
do.
I live in San Francisco, California, in a high-rise building on top of Russian Hill, so we have lots of great views. And on my blog, I do a lot of decorating tips also, and how to keep things, mostly how to keep traditional decor fresh.
Cindy, tell us a little bit about your blog and how long you've been blogging and all that.
My blog is Rough Luxe Lifestyle, and I've been blogging since 2009.
Whoa!
My blog is mostly decor, garden, entertaining, and just the last couple of years, I've sort of fell into doing a bit of over 50 fashion and style, and my readers seem to really like that. So that's, I live in the country, and I have a garden of about 1 acre, and I feature that a lot on my blog.
Your garden, Cindy, is just absolutely breathtaking. Whether I'm looking at it on Instagram or on your blog itself, oh my gosh, I just want to dive in there. I want to smell the lavender. I want to walk on those gravel paths with you. It's just gorgeous.
Oh,
so
thank you.
Yeah, it really is. All 3 of you have such beautiful blogs and just such a lovely way about expressing yourselves through your text and through the photographs. It's fabulous. And I do love the idea. And I think, Cindy, would you say the same thing? Do you kind of dress like your house too?
Oh my gosh. Annie is the one that always tells me that, so I laugh. And I said later on in my text, yeah, I definitely dress like my house.
That's the ultimate in flow, because we always talk about flow in the decor, right? You want to each room to flow to the next, and your limited color palette and all that. And you guys are even doing it in your wardrobe, which I just think it's great. So the 3 of you together really embody something that I strongly believe in, and Anita as well, is that we're all sort of better together. So I have seen, and I want to know more about it, I have seen over the years, and I don't know, it might have been going on longer than I've noticed, but I've seen that the 3 of you work together so beautifully on your blogs, and you complement each other, and you have these special features and things that you do. And you also invite other bloggers, because you invited me one time and we did a laundry room redo and whatnot. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what these special features are that you do on your blogs. So Cindy, you have the collected look and you do that on Instagram, right?
Right. We just decided to come up with the hashtag because we feel like individually we each have our own version of the collected look. For me, it's mixing the old and new, adding treasures and artifacts from your travels, mixing and matching furniture styles, and utilizing, different textures and finishes. That's kind of how I feel about the collected look. And each week we feature someone that uses our hashtag for the collected look, and we all share it on our Instagram. We each pick a different person, and it's been really fun, I think. Right, guys?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think
great.
we've met a lot of new people doing that, and people have really started. It's getting a lot of momentum.
Yeah.
Now, when did you start doing that?
Oh, that's
Oh
been a while.
boy,
Probably, is it over a year?
I would
Yeah,
think so.
I'd say about a year.
So Annie, can you explain to the listeners now, if they wanted to get in on this, it's open to everyone, right? And just explain to them
Absolutely.
if anybody, kind of fell from outer space and doesn't know what Instagram is or a hashtag, just give them the 101 on how they could get involved in the collected look hashtag.
Okay, so they could follow the hashtag, the collected look, and then they could kind of see what everyone, and it's basically just like a vignette or a room or anything that has that layered mixing old with new. And they can just post a photo on their Instagram and then add that hashtag, and then it will pop up. It's just super easy. All you do is use the hashtag and we'll see it.
So you have a look, and then whoever is the hashtag of the week, so to speak, do you each pick a different one, right? So there's 3 different people or photos that are
Right.
chosen. Is that it?
Right.
And then you feature them on your account.
Yes. And of course, we tag them, and so then they hopefully will get new followers. And it's just all very friendly.
I find so many new accounts that I want to follow, and then I fall down their rabbit holes through your collected look, because I really enjoy it.
great.
And it's very much my style as well, old and new and patinaed and shiny, and just throwing it all in the mix and trying to make it work together. So I really enjoy it. So we'll put a link in the show notes to how we'll explain and also link the hashtag in the show notes so everybody can take a look. So, Marianne, let us know, what do you think about the collected look? Because your look is, all of you have a different look, but all of you, I definitely think, fall into the collected look genre, if you will. Would you say that it's a style, or it's a look, or just a pursuit in your decor? How would you categorize it?
I think it's a personalized look because nobody is going to have the same look. Everyone is going to be influenced by what their preferences are and their travels and their lifestyle. So I think it's both. It's probably both. It's a style and a look. Like my collected look is a little different than anyone else's on the planet, basically, like yours is. So it's something everyone can do.
I love that. And Anita and I talk about personalizing your style. You don't want to go to Home Goods and just get 2 shopping carts and fill it all up and come home and put it everywhere,
Right.
because
Exactly.
Anybody can have that. But you want to personalize it with things from your travels, or, even art that your kids made, or just something that's special to you, or a piece of salvage you picked up on a girls' weekend or something like that. I think it's a really classic and timeless, beautiful way to decorate. So Cindy, you touched on a little bit. Well, what do you think are the hallmarks of that style? So if somebody who is listening said, "Oh, I love that idea, but I'm not sure that I have the collected look," what are some things that they should make effort to have in their homes or seek out in order to kind of pull this look together?
Well, I always like something vintage. I think anything vintage or antique brings character and history, to your space. Finding things on your travels that you can. Even in my yard, I feel like I have a collected look in my yard. And don't be afraid to mix the high and the low. Like you said, Kelly, you don't want to get a basket of stuff from Home Goods, and take your time.
That is such a good point. Take your
Right.
time. You
Right.
don't have to have every
Yes.
piece. Every surface does not have to be covered. Well, nor should it, even at the end of the day. But,
Exactly.
you should really just let it happen, as you're going along. And that is clearly the collected look. Now, when you're talking about collected look, would you say that you need to have a collection, so to speak? How do you feel about that, Annie?
I do feel like collections kind of play into that. And some of the collections, it could be like pottery or whatever, but my collections are typically things that are free, like rocks, but yet they're not
I
just
love
any
it.
rocks. I know, I
Yeah.
mean, but I know the origin of every single rock in my bowl,
I
Oh,
and
love that.
and I
Hmm.
have a collection of sand from all the beaches that we've been to, and I have them in this in these lucite boxes that I just got at the Container Store. And sand looks very different, and yet when you look at that, and I have them labeled with just this old school Dymo label maker, it's really beautiful, and it's just I love that organic bringing sort of nature in. So I think that collections can be anything from like, books, brass objects, pottery, all those things, but it can also be things that just have meaning to the person that collects them.
Hmm.
oh, that's beautiful. So let's talk a little bit about your houses, because obviously our listeners are really into houses. So kind of give us a verbal tour. Marianne, you want to start with your home, which has the most spectacular views imaginable.
Yes, I live in a high-rise 1920s building in San Francisco, and so we do have views out of every window, which is nice. It's got a French feel to it because it's Beaux-Arts style, and so that works well for me because I have some French antiques that I like to use, and I incorporate them with more of a coastal feel. But so each room, there's only 2 bedrooms, but each room, like I said, has a nice view, and it's not very large, but we love it.
How long have you lived in San Francisco?
It's been about 6 years now, and before that, we've lived in a lot of places, and
Oh my gosh, wait till you hear where Marianne has lived. Anita is going to be so jealous. Cliffhanger. You're going to have to hang on and find out all the cool places that Marianne has lived. Don't you just love a great recommendation from a friend? Well, we're delighted to be recommending these companies and their wonderful products to you today. And let them know your friends at DTT sent you. Inevitably, with the new year come wellness goals. One very effective and easy to reach goal is to add dose to your wellness regime. Dose is expertly formulated organic wellness shots that support your liver in one delicious drink. Formulated with ingredients clinically shown to support liver health. Potent turmeric, milk thistle, and ginger. There's 0 sugar and 0 calories. Did you know that your liver performs over 500 special functions? Since I learned all that my liver is doing, I started with Dose to support all those vital functions. I take a shot of refreshing Dose 2 times per week to combat everyday toxins from food, meds, alcohol, and unhealthy air. Since starting with Dose about a month ago, I am definitely feeling an overall improvement in my health. So if you want to give Dose a shot and invest in your health like I have, Dose is offering DTT listeners 15% off your first order, plus an additional 15% off if you subscribe for a monthly delivery. That's 30% off your first order. So go to dosedaily.co/DTT and use the code DTT. That's dosedaily.co.co/DTT and use the code DTT. Green Chef is a delicious delight any time of year, but especially during the holidays. What a wonderful vision to behold as the Green Chef boxes on your doorstep. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. And it makes eating well so easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat a more balanced diet. So let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season. And if you've got guests coming, shop Green Bundles. They're now available at the Green Market. It's your one-stop shop for nutritious grab-and-go breakfast, including vegan options, brunch kits, wholesome lunches, ready-to-eat snacks, veggie sides, and more. You can feel your best this December and do your best with Green Chef because they offset 100% of the delivery emissions as well as 100% of the plastic in every box. Go to greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT and get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT to get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. Okay, now we're going to find out where Marianne has lived.
So I've decorated homes in New York, Chicago, Florida, Paris, and now here. But we also had a house when I started our blog. I started it when we lived in Newport Beach, and it was sort of chronicling our renovation of that house.
So you were much closer to me before I knew you.
I know. We could have met. Well, we
Darn
still can meet. Hopefully we will meet.
I hope so, because I know you come down here, right? Doesn't your sister live in San Diego or something?
Yeah.
Well, then we're definitely going to do that. Masked or unmasked, we will meet. Sure. So you have to tell us about Paris. You can't just drop the Paris bomb and not say anything. So
it was good. I got talk about the collected look. That's where I got a lot of my French engravings, antique engravings that I've framed around the house. And I have gotten a lot of French flea market finds there because we go back not this year, but normally we go back once a year. And I kind of know where all the flea markets are in Paris and also down in the south of France.
Do you speak French?
I wish I did. If I'm there a while, it starts coming back because I was only there for 2 years, and my kids speak French. My daughter's fluent in it, which is great, but I forget it. It's terrible. If you don't practice, you just don't. But when I'm there after a few days, I feel like I can have little conversations.
You got your flea market French going.
Yeah, definitely. And my negotiation in French. Right, and I got my numbers down, yeah.
Exactly. Can you do any better on this? Right? Yeah. I don't know how to say that in French, but that's usually my go-to line. That's so funny. Okay, Cindy, tell us about your house.
We live on 10 acres in the country. We're about 40 minutes from Monterey and Carmel on the Central Coast. We're surrounded on one side, where the Santa Lucia Mountains and the Gavilands are kind of on the other side. We've lived in our house. We built it ourselves. Our children helped. But we built the house ourselves from the ground up. It's true. And our kids were very involved they actually think that we would have had to call Child Protection Services for all the things that they think we put them through, in the construction of this house.
Okay, wait, let me just pause you for a second. I can't get my daughters to clean their own rooms, and you got your children to build a house? Hey girls, forget the beach today. We're putting on a new roof. I need to take some parenting lessons from you.
Yeah, looking back, my son learned how to lay tile when he was very young. They always helped me in the garden. They were very helpful, and I think it served them well. My son now can do anything.
What a confidence builder. If you're a young kid and all of a sudden you just laid a floor tile, you're going to think, that would give you a lot of confidence to try just about anything.
Yeah. And as you said earlier, our garden is a big part of I knew nothing about gardening when we moved here. I had to learn. I had someone help me with the original plan, and then I, kind of took it from there. And it's a Spanish colonial. It's been a real source of pleasure, and it will never live anywhere like this again, but we will be moving on in a couple of years.
How did you end up in that part of California? It's such a beautiful area.
Oh boy, that's a really long story.
Oh, okay. Episode 2.
You don't want to know that long story.
Oh no, I think I do.
I'm from the Midwest. I'm actually from the Midwest originally, and we basically came here almost right after college. My husband started interviewing for jobs and decided he didn't really want to sit in an office, and became a contractor and came out here to build his brother's house, and that's how we ended up out here.
And I see those photos and your garden and the mountains in the background. I just want to move there. I actually, when I was researching to do the episode and diving deeper into all of your blogs, I was like on real estate listings for your area. I was like, this is so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Such a stunning part of the world.
Well, that's really nice of you.
So Annie, tell us about your house. You recently moved, or maybe not too recent now, but like within the last 2 years or so, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we were living in New Canaan, and that's where our kids went to school and everything. And just through blogging, actually, somebody, I don't know, like they saw our house or whatever, and they made us an offer that we just couldn't refuse. And we had
You're
already
kidding,
purchased.
through the
No,
blog?
yeah, it was sort of a weird, like, I don't even know how it all came to be, but we were the day before we left for a trip to go to France with our kids, we got a call saying, they would like to see your house if you would consider selling it. And I was like, well, I mean, we're always happy to sell our house and move on to the next project. So even though our kids are never like quite there, so we did. I got the house all ready. I was like turning lights on with the app so that it would all look perfect and everything when they got there the next day while I
Oh
was
my
in
goodness.
France. And we sold it. Like they had it inspected and everything. And we had already had this other little house that we weren't sure if we would ever move there. It's about, 15 minutes away. It's on this little peninsula on the Long Island Sound, and we loved it because it's coastal. And so it's actually really growing on me. We love it. It's a really cute, funky little neighborhood, and with like 1920s style homes with front porches. Everyone is always outside, on the water. It's really cool. So we're really happy here.
Well, your prior home uh, is historic, correct? Because we did
It
a
was,
historic homes tour
yes,
together, right? So
exactly.
I learned about your house that way, and you are still, but certainly with that house, you were very famous for your front porch and your front door, and didn't you painted pink at one point, and you have your
Yes.
swing chair out there. It's just so fantastic. But I love your new home.
Yeah, it's funny, the white, like, whatever reason, the white house with the painted door, whether it's gray or pink or black, it's just like people love it. Now, I keep telling my husband, I think we might need to paint this house white. And he's like, no way. It's like
Well,
natural cedar shingles that don't need paint. So,
oh yeah, yeah. Once you do it, then you've done it, right? You can't go back
exactly.
from that. So how did the three of you meet?
Well, I met Marianne when we were both living in Orange County, and was that like 10 or 12 years ago?
Okay, wow. See, I didn't
Yeah,
realize
it
your
was about
friendship
10.
went that far back.
Yes. And then Marianne introduced me to Cindy, and we've been friends ever since. And they see each other a lot because they live close to, within an hour, hour and a half,
About 2 hours
2 hours.
away.
Okay.
Hours.
Uh-huh.
But you guys seem to see each other quite a bit. So I'm always jealous because I'm not one to have FOMO very often, but I see their photos and I'm just like, oh, I wish I were there.
I know. We wish
So
you were here too.
at that time, you were living in California then, Annie, is that
Yes,
right?
that's correct.
Okay,
Yes.
right. Because remember when we first met, it was like I'm from New York, and you were in California, and then I was in California, and then you're back on the East Coast, so we had sort of that crossover connection.
Exactly.
Oh, wow. So I just thought you kind of all got together in the last couple of years. This has been a long friendship. So now, how do you feel about, continuing this virtual friendship, and then this virtual aspect of your businesses where you're all working together to do these various things? So we're going to talk about the other two aspects of your blogging that you all collaborate on in a few minutes. But how does that all work? Because I think, virtual friendships sometimes get a bad rap, but I'm of the mind that it expands your horizons. It connects you with people you may never have been connected to. Even though Cindy and Marianne can drive to see each other, 2 hours is still 2 hours. It's 4 hours round trip in the car. So I'm sure you're spending a lot of your friendship time either online or on the phone or, working on your blogs together. So how do you guys feel about that? Marianne, why don't you jump in first and and talk a little bit about having these virtual friendships and how do you nurture those?
Well, I think it's been really beneficial to me because, well, as you know, there's a lot of technical aspects involved with social media, and it's nice to have other people that you can talk to with about that. And Annie and Cindy are always really supportive and have great ideas and encouraging. And I always feel better. We usually have regular telephone conversations in addition to, emailing, but I always feel better after talking to those two guys. They're great.
Oh, that's so great. So, Cindy, you want to jump in on that about the virtual friendship?
What it is about virtual friendships is you have something in common already because you like what they're doing or you feel like you know them anyway. And then it just moves on from there. And for the three of us, I just feel like it's been so natural.
Annie, you want to bring in on that?
I just think we all bring different things and we're all so supportive of each other. And I think blogging, we're doing it on our own for the most part, so it can get kind of lonely. So doing these projects and these ongoing things together, it's like you really have a team, and
Right.
we love each other.
Oh,
That's true.
that's so lovely. I mean, and Anita and I are sort of in the same situation, and I'm so glad that I've met the three of you and then had the opportunity to share you with everybody here today. But Anita and I have been friends through blogging, and then in 2017 started the podcast. But really, if you put it on paper or count it on your fingers, I think I've seen her in person 6 times.
Isn't that amazing?
That's about it. But,
Wow.
I speak to her pretty much, every day or several times a week, and we do the podcast together, and we have other aspects of our business together. So, we're kind of in the same boat. So when people say, oh, the internet or, oh, social media, that's really harming friendships in a way, I could not disagree more. I think it really can connect you with people that are real kindred spirits.
And
Yes,
even people
exactly.
that like from your past. Like I've connected with people that we knew when we first got married, say 30 some years ago, and we just had dinner with them last winter in the city. And it's like we hadn't seen them in 30 years,
Mm-hmm.
all because of
Okay.
Instagram.
Now,
yes.
you just mentioned the city. So let me just ask Annie about her other Instagram account, the Coffee Shops of New York, which I love. And I think, obviously we might be taking a little hiatus with what's going on with COVID, but just tell everybody a little bit about that because I'd love them to follow that account as well.
Oh, thank you. Yes, my daughter and I, Madeline, she writes for Travel and Leisure. She's an editor for TNL. And so even before that, though, when we started doing this Coffee Shops of New York Instagram, and we kind of like thought maybe we would expand more than that, do like all the coffee shops that we go to, whether it's in Paris or Copenhagen or wherever. And she loves to write the stories about the people that, you know, they're the why they started their coffee shop and what it means to them. And I love the design aspect, whether it's the shop or the cups, all of that. So we're really excited about getting back into that. We've definitely had to take a little pause with COVID, but we'll definitely get back into that. We were actually just talking on it on the weekend, and that's still a dream and just the idea of being able to work with Madeline.
Yes, working with your daughter, just that is
Absolutely.
like a dream come true. But when I look at that Instagram account, I love falling down your rabbit hole or into your coffee cup, whatever you want to say, because as a New Yorker, and I don't know if you know this about me, but we lived in New York for maybe 13 years, and I used to be a district attorney in New York. So I am
Oh
like,
my gosh, I
I'm
forgot
kind of
about
like,
that.
yeah, I've got New York in my blood, and so it's like just feeds that little bit of me that I don't get to have in California. I love seeing all the places that you go, and all the streets that you mentioned where the coffee shops are. So it's fantastic. So if anybody else loves coffee, loves New York, or just a beautiful photo or a great story, definitely an Instagram account to follow. I want to talk about the project design that you have ongoing on your blog. And Marianne, maybe you can speak to that for us.
Yes, Project Design is a monthly feature that we have where we have different topics like how to style your coffee table or your favorite Thanksgiving side dishes, and they've become really popular. But as you know, Kelly, you participated before with your modern farmhouse when we did the laundry room project design. So it's something that gives us inspiration and gets us to do things like fix up our laundry rooms or our pantries and things like that.
Okay, so now I can be honest, right? I was sweating it out because my laundry room was nowhere ready.
You're like, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, you were ready. You're totally ready.
Well, I was ready, but like with, 5 minutes to spare. I do find that when I have a blog deadline like that,
yes.
It's like having guests coming, right? There's no better way to get something done than someone's coming over or you have a blog tour to be on. So thank you for that, because my laundry room still might not be done.
Annie and Sonia will always talk about how it's really motivated us to organize our pantries and make them look pretty. If you're going to put them on the blog, you can't, they got to look good. But it's also,
like your Cheerios have to be in some gorgeous container or something.
And labeled.
And labeled,
nice
right, with a label maker. Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, that's a really good one. And I love the idea that you invite other bloggers. So how do you do that? You just say, oh, I found somebody, they look like they'd be good for laundry rooms, or, so how do you do your research and recruiting for that?
Well, it's actually, I'm proud to say that people want to do it with us. We kind of limit the number, so it's not a really long list of blogs to visit. And each month we take turns. Like I'm working on one now, and then Annie works on the next month, and so on. So we kind of divide the labor up, and it's fun.
Oh, and it's fun for everyone to be reading and seeing. And again, it's another way to introduce your readers to other bloggers and maybe other Instagram accounts and people that they might want to follow.
Exactly.
So, just featuring all the good stuff that's out there. And
we try to feature new blogs all the time too. So if you ever want to come back and do another one with us, we'd love to have you, Kelly.
I would love to. And next time the two of you get together in California, you better drive by and pick me up, okay?
Yeah, okay.
And now, Annie, you all started something new on Sundays, which I am loving. And I think everybody, and thank you so much, because you mentioned the podcast last time you posted, but it's Sunday favorites, right?
Yes. And so it's really it's kind of a fun thing that we started because we all, during the week, we'll just be thinking about the things. I have a list going in my phone all the time, and whether I find it on Instagram or if it's like just a shop or whatever it is, a website, and we just all can share our favorites, and then we link to each other, and it's just people are already starting to expect it, and we've gotten great feedback. And we try not to do like all links, so it's like go buy this. It's like it's experiences, it's just pretty things, it's helpful things, really kind of all across the board, don't you think, girls?
Yes, recipes.
Yes, exactly.
Household tips that are working for us. Just things like, the way I look at it, it's almost as if I were talking to a friend, had a weekly phone conversation with them and said, hey, have you tried this? And so it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I think it's great. And I love the idea of it being a whole mix of things. And like Marianne said, it's as if you were talking to a friend. And that's so much of what this podcast is about. And if you see the reviews that we get or the emails that we get, so many times people are talking about, it's like talking to my girlfriend. And so you're just like telling your girlfriend this great thing that you came upon, this great linen shirt or this great movie you watched or a book or something like that. We do crushes at the end of each of our episodes. And we started that maybe about 2 years ago and got a great response. People really love it. And again, just like you're saying, it's not just all go buy this from here or, go spend your money there. It's I picked up this book, or here's this little, YouTube video I watched with a great house tour, whatever it happens to be. And it's just really fun to share in that way. And since most of the people that are listening, we're all sort of kindred spirits and reading your blogs, I'm sure, all the people are right on board with you. What you like, they probably like too. So I think you're going to have a really great response going forward with Sunday favorites. And I hope people liked the podcast and maybe some of your crew came over and gave it a listen as well. So, because we are decorating tips and tricks, we definitely want to know about how you develop your style and, some of your favorite tips. So, Cindy, tell me, how did you develop your personal style?
My husband and I started collecting antiques when we were still in college. And we lived in the Midwest and I had actually had an antique shop at one time too. And so that's kind of how we started. I don't like, my husband's more of a purist than me. He would have everything antique. I like comfortable furniture and some modern things in the mix. I don't think your house should look like a museum, but I think that antiques are a big part of the collected look. And I feel like with my own personal style as far as fashion goes, that's a big part of my look as well. I tend to like vintage jewelry and sometimes vintage clothing and things like that. This just add to the overall look.
Yes. I mean, and again, you're going to have that personalized aspect to your home or your wardrobe if you're adding in some antiques and some things that with some vintage flair. So gorgeous. Marianne, so what would you say defines your personal style?
I would say I like things it's like the name of my blog, Classic Casual Home. I'd say that I like a classic style, casual in that it's comfortable and you can take your shoes off. And then I also really love textiles, like pretty Indian block prints and velvets and anything. I just love pillows. A little bit coastal in there, but not kitschy. But I do love pieces of coral, and then things again from my travels that I pick up in different places, and it all becomes a collected look.
Well, I think that doing a little bit of the coastal makes such sense for where you are and the views that you have. I mean, how can you ignore all that water outside
right. Yeah,
of
you
your
see
windows?
a lot of you see a lot of blue, and
yes,
it's
exactly.
nice. Yeah.
So when you decorate, did you feel like you had to have a nod to, or like, incorporate the view, because it just is such a big presence? I mean, it's breathtaking when you look at
thanks.
the
Yeah.
pictures on your Instagram or your blog. I mean, when that fog is rolling in, oh my
I
gosh.
know. I'm looking out my window right now in my office, and it's very foggy because it's summertime in San Francisco, and it's still pretty though. It's like a gray, shades of gray, and but it's still blue, like a blue gray. So yeah. Well, when I do have that blue, that soft blue gray on slip covers in my living room, and I'm just now getting some new dining room updates that are also kind of going to incorporate that blue. But when I decorate for other people, I've definitely take into consideration what their homes look like and what their preferences are. And probably if we move back to Newport Beach, a lot of this will still translate there too. All this coastal
right?
stuff. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, because if you think about it, when I'm sure everyone will go have a look at your blogs and your Instagrams and they'll see, but if your palette was salmon pink and bright red and yellow, like that just would not work with what's going outside of your window. So it's just an interesting other element to take into consideration. It just happens to be so prevalent in your home because the view is just so front and center. But I think everybody really needs to take into consideration not only the architecture of their home, but sort of what is going on outside and how does that flow?
Right.
Yeah, right? Annie, how about you? What do you think are the hallmarks of your personal style?
Oh gosh, I would say just very relaxed, casual. I think my house says come in and put your feet up, but don't touch the walls. I'm not that relaxed. Um,
I love that.
I think the colors that I really inspired by are like colors of nature, whether it be like a seed pod or pine cones, just that really organic. I love, like, the only color I would say that's bright in my home would be natural plants. Other than that, I just really like it very neutral. It's a small house, so I think that makes it flow a little bit just with more, just keeping it kind of streamlined. but I do like it to look and feel very casual.
Let's wrap it up with each of you giving the listeners your top decor tip. Who's going to go first?
Okay, I'm going to jump in then.
Yeah, all right. I was going to say, okay, we'll have to go alphabetical.
Good. Yeah, there you go. Okay, I would say that you make less mistakes if you start with a mood board. So no matter what you want to, like if you are like wanting to like get a new look, I think the best thing you can do is decide what pieces you want to keep, or like say it's your dining room and you say, I'm going to keep the table, everything else can go. Then I would try to find a photo of that, whether it just sort of represents that. Like if it's a farm table, just go to Pottery Barn and drag a photo over. I use Keynote, but there's a bunch of apps like PicMonkey or Unfold, and you can even make them on your phone. And I would just pop in those objects, and then you can kind of see what it would look like before you ever buy anything.
Great tip. Okay. We're going in order of alphabetical. It's Cindy.
Buy things you love, invest in a good sofa, and invest in antiques and original art. And I think you can't go wrong.
Very solid advice. I love it. Okay, Marianne?
I think that in order to keep things fresh in your home, you should make small updates over time, like perhaps a new lampshade or a tray or some plants. And then you won't be stuck at the end of the day with a tired room and it won't be so overwhelming if you just make these small changes.
Ah, wow, that is excellent. It's so true. There's so many people that say, I haven't changed my fill in the blank, dining room hutch or whatever in 20 years.
Yeah.
Where do I start? And it does seem really overwhelming at that point. But if you're doing these little changes all the time.
Yeah. And they don't have to be expensive. I mean, most of my changes come from me just moving things around inside my home. But, I don't like to have clutter. That's another thing I would say. Group your collections together so they don't feel cluttered. Eliminate some things. You want kind of it to be your peaceful retreat at your home, especially now.
Well, I knew we were all kindred spirits before this conversation, but it's just it really underlined it in my mind because not only are you absolutely lovely ladies, but you're speaking my love language with all your decor thoughts, advice, and tips. So thank you so much for taking the time to come on Decorating Tips and Tricks today. We are going to have links to all your blogs and any of the specific posts that we refer to and your Instagrams in the show notes. So everybody can head over and follow and learn more about you and see all the photos that you share. So I can't thank you enough, and I hope you have a lovely day.
Thank you, Kelly. This has been so fun.
Yeah, really nice.
Thank you, Kelly.
I want to say a very warm welcome to Annie, Marianne, and Cindy's followers. Thanks so much for listening to our interview chat with the people that you love already. And we hope that you're enjoying the show, and maybe you'll stick around and subscribe to Decorating Tips and Tricks. We would love to have you as a regular listener and to join our community of kindred spirits. So thanks again for joining us today, and I hope you stick around. That was so much fun. That was the first time we've talked to that many people on the podcast at the same time, but I really enjoyed interviewing Annie and Marianne and Cindy. They are such lovely ladies, and talking to them about the collected look and all the other great info that we got to hear and learn about them and their blogs. So I hope everybody really enjoyed that. BritBox just keeps getting better. The new Archie is amazing. And it's not the comics. It's about Cary Grant. Archie is the brand new limited series starring Jason Isaacs as Archie Leach, the man who became Cary Grant. From the award-winning screenwriter of Philomena, Archie tells Grant's born in Britain, made in Hollywood story, the dramatic grit to glamour transformation that led him to become one of the most famous people in the world. You are going to absolutely love the acting, but also the styling, the outfits, the scenery. It's the first time his story has been told in collaboration with his daughter Jennifer Grant and ex-wife Diane Cannon. The performances from Jason Isaacs and the rest of the cast are amazing. and it's only available on BritBox. So sign up for BritBox today to stream Archie and other fan favorites from any device. And we have a special limited time offer for our U.S. and Canadian listeners. Get 50% off. Yes, that's 50% off your first month when you sign up for a monthly plan. But only if you go to BritBox.com and use our promotion code DTT at checkout. You're going to love Archie. So head over right now and get 50% off your first month of BritBox. Use the promotion code DTT at BritBox.com. Pesto pork chops over Parmesan polenta. Not that easy to say, but oh so easy to make with Green Chef. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit company for eating well, and we have such a great deal for you. You're going to save $250. Listen on for the details on that. Green Chef makes eating well easy for any lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals. You know, we're getting into the busy holiday season, so it's a perfect time to have Green Chef help you out. Let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season with their chef-crafted, nutritionist-approved recipes featuring fresh ingredients and nothing artificial. And you know what? You don't have to lose track of your healthy eating habits during the holidays. Every Green Chef customer gets a free session with their registered dietitians who will walk you through how to make clean eating work for you. So sign up for your free session and start on the road towards better health today. And that deal I want to tell you about, visit greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. So that's greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. Anita, what's our hot topic today?
Well, it's about one of my favorite places and how it's becoming a favorite place for so many people. The article is about Asheville becoming a popular spot for home buyers escaping the COVID hot zones. So this is a place that I think people are saying, you know, for people that are wanting to get away from where maybe they feel like there's a lot of the virus going on, this is a place that they're going to is Asheville, and who can blame them? It's such a fun place. It's got so many great restaurants, and it's close to nature. There's hiking nearby. It's really one of the most beautiful cities in the U.S. So I'm excited that other people, you know, are finding out about what a wonderful place it is. So yeah, it's pretty hot spot right now.
I have a crush that is helping me get a good night's sleep, a great night's sleep, I should say. It's this new pillow that I was introduced to, and at first I was like, look at the shape of this thing. It's got a very unique butterfly shape almost. I'm a side sleeper, and it's great for side sleepers, supposedly great for back and stomach sleepers too, but I can attest to it as a side sleeper. You can kind of tuck your arm under, if you can imagine, sort of the butterfly wing. It's memory foam with temperature control. It really cradles your neck and your head. I'm always stuffing and fluffing, and even though I love my down alternative pillows, sometimes they just wear out or you just can't get them in the right position. So I am really enjoying this pillow by Sutera. It's their Dream Deep pillow. So I'll put a link in the show notes to that so you guys can check it out as well.
So my crush is Just Knock Knock. They sent me some beautiful flowers. You just answer a few questions about, you know, your porch, what kind of light it gets, what direction it's facing, and your style, traditional, contemporary, whatever. And then they pick out the flowers for your pots. And then when the flowers arrive, they are full grown, blooming, and just ready to go in your pots. So that is something that I'm so excited about. I worked with them this spring. I'm working with them now, and they're just beautiful. Anyway, I'm going to send a link in here. There'll be a link to my Instagram account. You can see them. But I'm really loving the flowers, and it was just so easy. I didn't have to go pick them out. So, you know, if you're someone who feels like you have a black thumb, I think you're going to really like it.
Okay, so our question today is from Kylie T. Kylie writes in, actually she DM'd me on Instagram, and is wondering about Euroshams. And who really isn't? How would you style your Euro shams? You know, do they lay flat? Do they stand up? Do you toss them all over the place? What do you do with them? And maybe we could back up and say, for anybody who doesn't know, what is a Euro sham? What makes it a Euro sham? Anita, you want to jump in?
Well, they're square pillows, and they tend to be much larger than a traditional U.S. pillow, which is just a regular pillow sham for your bed. It's going to be 20 by 26 pillow, but for the bed. But a Euro is going to be a square pillow. Its traditional size is 26 by 26, but Euros come in a couple of different sizes. So they're not all 26 by 26, although I think that's the most standard size available. But I love using them because they stand up so much taller. I think there's so much bigger presence on your bed. You can have them lying flat, or you can stand them up. I like putting them up on their sides in the very back, and then putting some shorter pillows in front. So you kind of have a waterfall effect. That's what I like, but I think everybody, but that's just one way to do it. So everybody's different. Some people like to do it a different way. Some people like to stack them flat and then stack them up. But I love that look of the kind of the waterfall with the tallest one in the back. And for a king-size bed, I like using 3. And then that's going to cover the width of your bed. If you just have 2, on a king-size bed, you're going to have a lot of space in the center and on each side.
I don't feel like I have to say anything. That was really well covered. Getting shams for either Euro size pillows or regular size pillows is a great way and an easy way to switch things up. So have some fun with it, Kylie. I think it was a great question, and I hope we answered that for you and anybody else who is just befuddled about the whole Euro sham thing. So thanks so much for hanging out with us today. I hope you enjoyed the interview. I know I certainly did, and we'll have more interviews for you, I think, as the year progresses. So remember, we are here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time. I want to remind you that we are available for design consults. We take on your design dilemmas, questions, renovations, any project you want to talk about, any room, any space. We are here for you. And we really do enjoy doing these. And I think we've helped people a lot. So if you want to sign up for a consult, head to the link in the show notes. It's decoratingtipsandtricks.com/consult. We hope to talk to you soon.